Hi, welcome to Easy Engineering. A question comes up very often in the blow-off and drying of extruded profiles. For this kind of application, usually the best thing to use is something like what I have in my hand, an air wipe, as opposed to just running a series of nozzles around the extrusion or other types of blow-off. The reason for that is, with this type of design, these are manufactured by Next Flow Air Products Corp. You get a full circular coverage of the extrusion, and it has a couple advantages with this kind of style. First of all, flexibility. The air wipe comes in two parts. You have the two parts held together by these pieces at the end. One of them is hinged, so that you can actually loosen up a screw and then remove the hinge and separate the two parts. This is very important in an application where some sort of a bubble could form in the extrusion, for example, such as happens with starting up the extrusion of EPDM rubber. This way, rather than having to sort of cut the extrusion and then refeed it through the air wipe, you just open the air wipe, pass that bubble through, and then continue with the extrusion process. So flexibility is important. But the most important thing about this style of air wipe is its efficiency in both energy and in the factory safety. It utilizes the Coanda effect, very much the effect used on air amplifying nozzles, air amplifiers, and air knives, in the fact that along with the compressed air that comes out of the small gap that's in the air wipe, you entrain the surrounding air and amplify the airflow. Therefore, you're using less energy for using blow-off. So, air wipes do come in different sizes. When they're being applied to a particular extrusion, you have to account for the size of the extrusion. You want to have the inside diameter as close to the largest diameter of the extruded part as possible. Odd shapes are quite ideal for blowing off with this type of design, because the angle of the air that comes out of the air wipe is at about 30 degrees. So what happens is, even if you've got grooves or corners in the extrusion, that airflow will get into those grooves and be able to blow out any sort of liquid that's stuck in those corners. Again, different sizes for different sizes of extrusion. Usually the smaller the extrusion, the faster the extrusion occurs as well. That's why it's very important, especially in extruding wire, that you get as close to that wire diameter as possible, because that's very high speed typically. That's why these air wipes are manufactured with small diameters as low as 1/8 of an inch now. 1/2 inch, 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch for small wire, ideal sizes for using this style of air wipe. So when you're dealing with extrusion, consider this style of air wipe because of its flexibility and their high energy efficiency. And because of that high energy efficiency, also lower exhaust air noise levels.